Video blog.
Hey guys, this is Tim from Twice Circled and welcome to episode 36 of the official Megaquarium video blog. Something just popped up, just going to have to research. Let's get a vending machine. So in today's episode I am going to be showing you the first draft, I need to emphasize this, first draft of theming in the game. Now people who follow me on Twitter will have got a little sneak preview of this earlier this week, and but here's the full vlog where I get to show you it in action. I get to show you how you do the theming and talk a little bit more about stuff around it. In fact, I just got that bench, so let's place down a bench. So this is the reason I so often just do vlogs where I don't really play the game. I just like set stuff up with an empty aquarium because it's just so compelling. I just end up wanting to fix all the issues, like these tired guys. Well, hopefully, sit down. There we go. Okay, cool. So look, I'm gonna pause the game. Okay, so stuff stops happening. We got a nice little aquarium here, and I quite like this staggered design, by the way. This is something that I've just came up with recently, which I quite like. Yeah, instead of just having them across, just have them all staggered, and then it kind of gives you a little pathway to kind of the next bit of your aquarium. Anyway, I've added this new button here. It's got a temporary icon. This is meant to be a paint bucket. This was originally an icon for a bucket used to clean the filters. In fact, that reminds me, I should build a tap. But it's I've repurposed it so it's a paint bucket, because this is the paint menu or theming or whatever. I haven't decided what to call it yet. And we have these three types of paint. Okay, we got blue, Megaquarium blue. This is our standard color. We have wood 1 and we have wood 2. Now these are going to be updated. Just need to get some new models from my artist, so that they don't just show the wall, they also show you the floor color, because each one of these paints is multi-purpose. You can paint the whole aquarium in just one of these if you so choose, and it will paint the floor and the wall, so it'd be nice to give you a preview of what both of those look like. So here's how it works. You choose your thing, and then you're now on the paint tool, and then you just click and drag. So watch this, and listen to the awesome sound effects. just missed those. That's interesting. I've not actually tested this while I've had people in the aquarium. It's quite easy to for the people to get in the way of your paintbrush and the filters and stuff. So there we go, that's the floor done. But like I say, this is a multi-purpose tool, so we can also drag along the walls like this. We can paint the tanks as well as the walls that go next to them. Here's actually a use of, by the way, this is actually a use of thin walls. Just quick tangent, because I think you guys might be interested. This is actually a thin wall here. This isn't the side wall of the tank. So this was part of the design of the thin walls. While adding thin walls, what I've also done is change the shape of the tanks. You'll see here that this tank no longer has walls at the side of it. It's up to you if you want to put walls there. And that's actually partly what allows us to do this cool design, where we have just the walls where we need them. But you've actually got access all the way around the back, unless you end up putting the walls in there manually, and it looks really good. It's really seamless actually. Anyway, let's turn it around and let's paint a little bit more. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. Now I have a feeling that that theming has been on the top of you guys', like I'm even going to paint these little floor tiles underneath the entrance. In fact, look, there's a little white rim here. Let's see if we can paint those too. There we go. Now I have a feeling that theming has been on the top of many of your lists for quite some time, because I think, you know, after watching 35 vlogs of me putting down the same old blue tanks with the same old blue floor, you were kind of getting worried that I would never add it. So I thought, hey, you know what, we were redesigning the tanks anyway. We've actually got some final design, some good designs now for the tanks. This is the 1 high, this is the 2 high, this is the 3 high. They're going to get even bigger than this. Just to give you a little preview, this is how the big one looks so far. This is the 2 high. And those are going to need steps to access at the back. Your aquarists, hopefully your aquarists won't have the fear of heights. Well, that'd be really cool if that was like one of the little stats. You know, these stats that you attach to all the things? Maybe if we added one to the aquarists and it was like fear of heights and they won't go up the platforms. That would be awesome. Anyway, I think it's been pretty high on your list, and so while redesigning the tanks, I we thought, let's try and redesign the 3D modeling process so that it also supports this modular theming. So here's the really cool thing. There's a different texture for the floor and there's a different texture for the wall, but this wall texture is actually being shared by the tanks and the walls, and is there anything else? Oh, and the doors, for example, which is really cool. So I've been really pleasantly surprised at how relatively easy. It's not been easy, it's just I wasn't expecting to be able to get such a good design for all the modeling so that it could be this modular. So what's really cool about this is these three themes are just kind of like, well, this one's the main one, but these two, you know, they didn't take that long for my artist to make, and it would be possible for him to make a large selection of these because we're using the same one for these different models. It's just picking and choosing which bits to show in different areas, which is pretty cool. We've even got, actually, I didn't show you this, we've even got this, it actually is colouring the back of the tank. Just trying to find a good angle. And actually, depending on the theme, that will change too. So let me show you a second type of theme. So we go here, we've got wood 2. Now this has a slightly different, slightly darker wood colour. It's very subtly different, but you know, it's if you prefer it, you prefer it. And we're going to do it like this. And this actually has a different, oops, went into first person mode. This actually has a different back as well, which is pretty cool. In fact, let's go into first person mode and just give you guys a little look. So this is what it looks like. So you might have noticed we've actually taken down the walls, the access walls at the back of the tank. I've dropped those down so that it's going to facilitate really nice animations for the staff. And then of course you'll be able to have your nice high ones where you can't see through the back of them like this. But then of course your staff will need to go up platforms to get to them. So that was all part of this redesign. We've been putting it off for ages. Had to do it because otherwise when it comes to giving these staff proper animations where they feed the animals, it's just ludicrous for them to be going up to the back of this tall tank and waving their arms around and nothing, and somehow stuff gets fed and somehow stuff gets cleaned and that sort of thing. Anyway, so there's the second thing, and I said the floor's different too. So my hope is, what you can do if you want is just paste the whole thing in one theme, and that's a really quick way of doing it for people who just want to kind of who like it a little bit. They like the idea of their aquarium, different parts of their aquarium looking different, but they don't want to kind of really spend a lot of time going through it painstakingly. But I also want this option that you can mix and match if you want to. So here what we've got is actually a this is actually an adjusted version of the main, oh my god, I keep in the wrong place, the main tile pattern. Can you see it? It actually checkers dark light, dark light. Now one of the things I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make it, I think what I'll try and do is find a way so that when you're on the theme tool, stuff that isn't themable, it will just go straight through them. Because this is definitely getting a little bit annoying, getting the guests getting in the way. So I'm just going to make a quick note of that. And so yeah, I mean, this, you know, I'm not the best artist in the world. This isn't maybe the best looking thing, but you know, imagine that we had a little bit of kind of paved area, or you know, a different color. Then you could mix it up. I mean, look, if we really want to, we can go back to the blue style, and then you know, you could almost create a kind of like pathway through your aquarium. Then you have these kind of little offshooty bits. I mean, this is a bit lame. Oh my god, like I say, not the best artist. But there's a limit to what I can do with so few theming options. But you know, you get the idea. You get the idea. You can kind of mix and match them. You've already seen that with the walls as well. That we've got these kind of dark walls here and the light walls there. And so yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Now one of the things I'm really happy about. Oh, I just realized I haven't themed this. It's only a tiny little bit of it gets themed, but just the little dark strip at the bottom. Now one of the things I'm really happy about, and one of the, I guess conversely you could say one of the things I was worried about, is the fact that I was worried that with our kind of limited colour palette in this game, you know, there's a lot of blue, but what do you expect? It's an aquarium based game. I wasn't sure if introducing additional colours, like these wood textures and stuff, would work, and I thought it might clash a little bit. But I don't know about you. I actually think it looked rather good, especially when you do it like this, where you kind of seal off the guest area from the rest of the aquarium. Sorry, not from the staff areas, and you leave the staff areas how they are. Then I think it actually looks pretty cool. I'm even tempted to have a kind of default, quite ugly, like grey as a base texture. And so actually it's up to you to theme all of the all the guest areas that actually your kind of default color is really kind of industrial, so it will look fine in the staff areas but not so good in the guest areas. So that's, yeah, I'm really relieved and I'm quite excited by how good it looks, and I think it's only going to get better the more themes that we have. So this isn't the only thing we're going to have, right? We're going to have, I think probably in the same decoration, you're going to have paint. The idea of paint is, you're basically slapping it on a range of objects that can be painted: tanks, doors, walls, etc., floors. But we're also going to have freestanding decorations. So these are going to be quite a lot like the scenery that we have here, which you can place in the tanks, but you're going to be able to place them just out in the main floor. And again, I think that'll add a lot of creative license for the player to mix and match different paints and mix and match your freestanding decorations, and hopefully everyone's aquarium will look slightly different. Now, I think the final thing to talk about really is what effect will theming have on the actual gameplay, because I'm happy with what we have, to be honest. I think this is the bare minimum, is just the ability to paint things, make them how they want, so everybody can have their aquarium looking the way they want, and that's one way to go. And you make the theming completely free in game, and it's just completely aesthetic. That's the way some games go. I think it'd be pretty cool, given that this is a game about an aquarium, if the guests actually appreciated the theming work that you do. Because it's quite realistic that if you've got a big aquarium, when you or I go to an aquarium, if the whole thing is just kind of like aquarium blue, then it can get a little bit stale. And so I'd like it if after a little while, once your aquarium gets a certain size, just like the guests start to get tired, they also might start to be a little bit fed up with seeing the same theming over and over again. Now, I have a few ideas for how I could actually achieve this, but it kind of depends on some other aspects of the game which are subject to change, partly this guest rating, but I won't go into that now, but I have some ideas for how I'd like to maybe tweak this system. But it's certainly going to be integrated into the guest rating system, or whatever replaces the guest rating system, because it's going to be about guest satisfaction, and so that's what I think theming will do. It won't have any effect on your ecology or your science points. It's going to be very much based on the kind of the third thing that you're trying to achieve, which is you're having an aquarium which is attractive to your guests. And I think I have to be careful. It's a bit of a balance, because what I could do is keep it simple. I could just say the more decorations, the more themed bits that a guest encounters, the more they enjoy their stay. Sure, it's okay. It's similar to what we've currently got for the guest rating, and it would be okay. But it wouldn't really reward the player for kind of theming things really nicely and maybe matching certain themes together and trying their best to do that sort of thing. So I think it would be pretty cool if we could reward that somehow. But it can be quite tricky because it's a bit of a balance. Oh, I like this, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed. Pull back in the video if you didn't. But I've now added an actual bucket to the tap, so that you can see whether it's currently being used. If you have multiple staff, you'll actually have to have multiple tap things, because each one can only hold one bucket and each one can only be used one at a time. I think I might get rid of this empty thing. It's a bit garish for the ones like the taps. Anyway, it's a bit of a balance. The reason it is because while I want to reward the player for maybe doing things like matching... Oh, I forgot about these guys. Can't go with conspecifics. I don't want it to be too constricted, because at the end of the day, theming your aquarium should be a creative thing. It should be a thing that you have a lot of freedom in how you do it. And so that's going to be a little bit tricky for me. I certainly don't want to go to the same lengths as I have with, you know, the scenery, where it's going to... Oh, you can't even see it here. I can't remember if it's even shown anywhere. It doesn't even do it anymore. Where, you know, the scenery inside the tanks is going to give you bonuses to the care requirements of your fish and to the amount of points that they generate. But so I don't want it to be that constricted. I don't want it to be like you have to place this flag down next to this particular paint and then you'll get a bonus in this many points. I just want it to be I don't know, a little softer than that. Just like generally, if the guests see that you've put stuff that kind of go together, then they'll be like, wow, this place is done really nicely. Whereas if it's just like a hodgepodge of loads of random stuff, maybe they won't. But it's going to be tricky. It's going to take a lot of experimentation and balance, because the last thing I want to do is be really heavy-handed and I make it so that basically everybody has to paint their aquariums the same way. That's lame, right? So there we go. That's theming. That's all I have to talk about today. But it's one of the last systems I want to get in place before I do my big redesign and I finally do another full game playthrough. The next thing is, in fact, I've already done a little bit of it, which is just basically redesigning the fish. I have like another 20 fish to put in the game, by the way. I've got corals. Oh wait, have they been... I'm not sure if they've been modelled yet, but I've got designs for corals. So I'm going to redesign that whole thing to work better with this research system, and I'm going to redesign the interaction between the decorations, sorry, the scenery and the animals to work better with this whole system where it's all like little stats. So yeah, lots of stuff to do, but it is coming along. And yeah, hopefully in the next few weeks we might be able to do some gameplay, proper gameplay, where I can actually like play the game and see how it comes out. And I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, because it's been quite a few months now of just adding systems, which is fun. But I think I need to do a bit more gameplay testing. Oh, I have a bit of news. Sorry, one more thing. I'm going to be at Rezzed in London in April. So that's R-E-Z-Z-E-D. If you are based in the UK or close enough to come and you want to come to London and play Megaquarium, you're very welcome to. There will be 2 computers. You'll be able to play test it. You'll be one of the very few people in the world who are able to, and you'll be able to give me your feedback. I'm sorry that I only do these shows in the UK, and I know there's people all over the world who want to play this game, and I'm sorry that you can't do it yet. But it's just the way it is. It's just the game's, you know, not ready for any sort of kind of mass testing yet. It's really like, I much prefer just having it tested in front of me so I can watch other people's shoulder. It's at that level where it's so, you know, the sort of things that come up are so basic. So yes, if everybody can be a little bit more patient, that would be appreciated. And yeah, but if you can make it to London in April, then there should be a little card popping up in the top right of the video, and click on that. Well, this is if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm sorry, nothing will come up. There'll be a link in the post. But all right, cheers guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.